rain, go away. That's certainly what folks in Rock Rapids, Iowa are saying over the past week. Hello and welcome to Midco Motorsports. I'm your host, Brian Shawn. Heavy downpours wreaked havoc in southern Minnesota and northwest Iowa in the last week. 4 inches of rain fell on Jackson Motorplex, forcing the cancellation of its 360 Sprint Car show last Friday night. But things at Rapid Speedway in Rock Rapids, Iowa got even a little more scary.
All of our French fries.
Instead of preparing for a show at Rapid Speedway last Friday night, track promoter Derek Vanderbrink and several others were busy removing food and beverages from the concession stand. Flooding from the nearby Rock River was threatening, bringing out the red flag on racing at the 3/8 mile dirt oval for the scheduled program with the Lucas Oil Midwest late models.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of cases of beer, there's a lot of cases of Pepsi products. And like I said, there's no easy way to get them out of here, one at a time. With that much water north of us, all coming through here, it's got to go somewhere. And like I said, the river's already out of the bank, so we wanted to be proactive this time instead of surprised like last time.
In 2014, flooding caused major problems at the track. Fortunately, it's not as serious this time around, but the stress is all too familiar.
That mitigated disaster. It was a mess down here. The fences were washed out, and it was a terrible lot of work, but we had a bunch of volunteers then come down and help us fix it all up, and just the way the weather is this year, it's unfortunate. And I really thought in 2014 we'd never have to go through anything like this again, but it's expensive when all your product goes underwater. So like I said, it's like standing by the river and throwing $100 bills down the stream. So no, we did not want to experience that again.
The good news is that racing should be back soon, and with all the support the track receives, it makes the extra effort worthwhile.
I'm a race fan just as much as everyone, and I want to get down here and see some racing, and then this extra work isn't fun, but again, that's just part of it. The community that is behind this track is awesome, and like I said, I can't do it without them. So they make my job, they make me look really good.
Rapid Speedway is hoping to run its mid-season track championship on Friday. The World of Outlaws were also scheduled to race in Farley, Iowa as well. That show was also canceled due to heavy rains and flooding last Friday night as well. Tough weekend all around in the state of Iowa. Well, it was a busy weekend for the Northern Outlaw Sprint Association, scheduled to race at 4 different tracks in 4 nights. Norman County Raceway in Ada, Minnesota is celebrating its 100th year of operation this season and had 3 nights of action during Fair Week for what is affectionately called the Ada Nationals. That's this week's A Feature. A sold-out crowd on a beautiful night at the fairgrounds. Hobby stocks were up first. With 4 laps to go, a 3-way battle for the lead. Joe Gonska spun out by Tim Sheik going into turn 3, bringing out a caution. Gonska would get his spot back, and in the final laps would have to fight off his brother Joe Gonska to take the hobby stock victory, his 5th win of the season. In the INEX Legends feature, the 20 of Alex Braceth started on the pole and was out to a quick lead, but the 14T of Tim Estenson would slide out front 7 laps into the race and would cruise from there. Already 11 victories on the season for the 16-year-old from Fargo. The one-arm bandit Taylor Grove would start on the front row of the IMCA Sport Mod main event. The 22 of Vince Jetvig would have a comfortable lead early on, but eventually it's the 51 of Kelly Jacobson running him down from the 4th row and making the pass with 6 laps left. The 3X of Andy Wagner makes a late push looking for his 2nd straight feature win, but it's too little too late as Jacobson goes on for the victory. Canadian Thomas Kennedy hoping for a strong showing, starting 6th in the sprint car main event. Mark Dobmeyer was on the front row and pulled out to a huge lead early on, but a yellow flag would fly with 6 laps left to go when 3rd place Kennedy made contact with a spinning lap car in Joe Sorensen, ending his night. Dobmeyer held the lead over Wade Nygaard with just over a lap left. When something in the rear end breaks, Dobmeyer would slow and pull it into the infield, opening the door for Nygaard, who rolls to his 6th career win at Norman County Raceway. Austin Pierce came all the way from 21st to finish 2nd.
Yeah, I kind of saw the car drop down, and I don't know if he got a flat tire or broke an axle or something, but it really laid over on the left, and he went that way, and thank God I wasn't too close to him to run into him. So was kind of hoping, I hope he didn't cause a yellow, and he didn't. He got into the infield because, like I said, we wouldn't have made too many more laps without running out of fuel. I think everybody was kind of probably in the same shape.
It was also Fair Week at River City Speedway in Grand Forks. The Lightning Sprints getting things started, a crash on an early restart, collecting the 10 of Alex Struzinski, the 93 of Kelsey Peterson, and the 11M of Brendan Mullen. Everyone walked away okay. No more drama from there as the 13 of Alan Struzinski led the whole way and picked up his first NLSA Lightning Sprint feature victory of the season. The micro sprints made a rare appearance in Grand Forks. The 51L of Austin Letourneau started fourth on the grid but got the lead quickly and never gave it up in a race that lasted only 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Then it was time for the NLRA late models. Dustin Strand started sixth and made quick work of everyone, eventually taking over the lead from Troy Schill with some help from lap traffic. The 7W of Ricky Weiss made up a lot of ground, but Strand never looked back, picking up the victory by 3 seconds.
We've had some tough luck. We actually tipped one over here a couple weeks ago, and we got one wrecked in Devil's Lake racing for the lead. And so hopefully we got all our bad luck out of our way, and we'll be going the right direction the rest of the season here.
The NOSA sprint cars wrapped up the night. Jordan Adams started on the pole and led early on, but as he got into lap traffic, Mark Dobmeyer reeled him in. And then some bad luck for the leaders on lap 13 as Zach Wild spins in turn 2, Adams into the water barrels avoiding him, and Dobmeyer also spinning out. Both would return to the race. Wade Nygaard would inherit the lead, but Dobmeyer a risky slide job on the restart to take the top spot. Nygaard tries one of his own in turns 3 and 4, but couldn't make it stick. Dynamite looked like he was well on his way to the victory until he catches the cushion and bicycles out of control, spinning over the banking in turn 2 and out of contention. Nygaard would take advantage, holding off Austin Pierce to pick up his first win at the Bullring this season.
It was a tough race, pretty tricky cushion in 1 and 2, pretty bouncy. It bit me a couple times, but luckily held on. We're picking it up here lately, getting a little luck. Hopefully it keeps going our way and we'll pick up some more wins.
The racing world did suffer a major loss this past weekend. World of Outlaws driver Jason Johnson died from injuries sustained from a crash at Beaver Dam Raceway in Wisconsin on Saturday night as he was racing for the lead. Johnson was in his 4th year on the World of Outlaws Tour. He won the 2016 Knoxville Nationals and earlier this month picked up 2 preliminary victories at the Jackson Nationals. A native of Eunice, Louisiana, he was known as the Ragin' Cajun. Certainly all of us at Midco Motorsports send out our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to his wife Bobby, 5-year-old son Jax, and all other members and supporters of the JJR number 41 team. Johnson was 41 years old. Welcome back. In many ways, Braden Pengilly is like any other teenager. She works, plays sports, hangs out with friends. The Langdon, North Dakota native also happens to race on the weekends, and like a lot of race teams, it's a family operation. Marty Mueller has more.
A bright pink number 12 stuck to the side of a 410 Outlaw sprint car wing. That's a sight Braden Pengilly has been dreaming of for a long time.
I've always wanted to race sprint cars. It's always been my dream. I started racing go-karts when I was 7, and that was my goal, is to become a sprint car racer.
The go-kart would hold Braden over for a while before moving to a Lightning sprint car. And then, one day, with the help of her family, it was time. While most of us are learning to parallel park, Braden, at just 16 years old, was cinching down the belts behind the wheel of her first sprint car.
It's a lot of fun. It's a really big adrenaline rush, and they're really fun, really fast, and it's like a big family out here at the track.
Oh, it's real enjoyable seeing her progress through the years and working on getting better and better, and Braden really enjoys it, and we enjoy watching her do it, and it's a fun family deal.
They do it for the sheer enjoyment, no doubt, but the time commitment, balancing work, racing, and everything else in a 19-year-old's life, that can be grueling.
It can be long. I go to work at 6 in the morning, get off at 2:30, and the days I race, we leave right after work, and then some days we get home at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up for work at 5 o'clock. going to work, and then doing it all again. So you get exhausted, you get tired, you just want to take a break, but you know you can't.
The Pengillys trade sleep for time at the Speedway. But Braden and everyone else here will tell you, they couldn't live their frenzied racing lives without the support of those at home.
My family takes me every weekend, so that's a big help. They've been doing it for 12 years now, so I guess I've taken my mom's summers away for 12 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it can be a little hectic, but yeah, I'd say it's hard to describe it, but it's good quality family time.
We're always in the garage together working on the car. He's pushed me to do my best on my car, and we've learned sprint cars together. I mean, none of us knew how to work on a sprint car before, so it's all a learning curve for us.
In just 12 short years, Braden has gone from rookie go-kart driver to an outlaw sprint car regular at one of the best dirt tracks in the country.
I think it's pretty cool. A lot of people come up to me and they don't really know what to say when they see it's a girl behind the wheel. Then I get a lot of credit for being the only girl out here. A lot of little kids come up and say they want to be like me. They love my car because it's pink, and got a lot of fans.
As she lives her dream, Braden inspires young race fans to chase theirs. It's safe to say the bright pink number 12 is here to stay.
Well, Pengilly spent plenty of time on the road this past weekend, along with other drivers on the NOSA Sprint circuit. That included 2 scheduled stops in South Dakota. We'll recap the action next. You're watching Midco Motorsports. Welcome back. 410 sprint car shows have been pretty rare in South Dakota in recent summers, but a unique opportunity for fans in both Aberdeen and Watertown this past weekend, with NOSA Sprints making stops at Brown County and Casino Speedways. 20 cars started the first ever NOSA feature at Brown County Speedway and put on a great show for the fans. Mark Dobmeyer out to the big lead early on as cars jockey for position, but in the back of the pack, a handful of cars get together, including Kevin Engel, Tanner Wisk, and 15-year-old Brandon Mullen, who rolls twice into the infield wall. All drivers would be okay. The man on the move was 2017 NOSA champion Austin Pierce, maneuvering past Kelly Miller into second place. He would set his sights on the lead, giving Dobmeyer all he could handle in the final lap, but Dobmeyer would hang on in the last turn to pick up his 5th win of the season. It was a capacity crowd in Watertown at Casino Speedway on Sunday night. Picked things up with the Wissota Midwest Mod feature. 16 cars took the green flag, but cautions were the story, with several getting sent to the infield for causing multiple yellow flags. With only 3 laps to go, only 5 cars remained on the track when the final restart took place. The 73M of David Carlson would give everything he had to leader Scott Hansen, but Hansen would hold him off in the final laps to bring home the trophy. The NOSA Sprint took the track next to pay tribute to the late Jason Johnson with the missing man formation. The green flag waved, and it was Thomas Kennedy who jumped out to the lead and had to work through lap traffic just 3 laps into the race with Mark Dobmeyer on his heels. The race stayed green for the first 20 laps, but a caution finally came out with 5 to go. On the restart, Dobmeyer diving low and sliding in front of the 21K to take the lead, but the race would be stopped 2 laps later for a flip by Jordan Martins. Dobmeyer would get a great restart and hang on to the lead to take home the checkered flag in his first ever visit to Casino Speedway.
The race was just action-packed. You know, right before the race, they went out and worked the track. They graded it down and got some holes out of there, and there was plenty of stick there, so you could run the top, the bottom, the middle for the first few laps, and it was wide open, elbows up, and plenty of lap traffic. And this is our first time coming here, and I heard it was a small track, and they didn't lie. I mean, it's really tight corners, but it's action-packed, and that's my perfect style of racing.
Well, the Northern Outlaw Sprint Association has certainly come a long way in its 25 years. We'll catch up with one of the board members and drivers on the circuit coming up next. Welcome back. In 1994, the Northern Outlaw Sprint Association was formed with the hope of promoting sprint car racing in the upper Midwest. The group found a weekly home at Cities Speedway, but have worked hard to branch out to other fan bases in other cities across the region as well. Now in its 25th season, NOSA has its most aggressive schedule yet. Joining us to talk about it is driver of the number 27 sprint car, Chris Ranten, who also serves on the board of directors for the Northern Outlaw Sprint Association. Chris, appreciate the time. We know you're a busy guy running a business, but serving on this board must mean a lot to you as well.
It sure does. It's been a great experience so far. I've been fortunate to work with some really good people on the board as well. It's been a good experience, and you know, we all share the same passion for sprint car racing. So it's really nice to get a group together that wants to move forward with the general direction of sprint car racing in the upper Midwest here.
Well, I know one thing you've spent a lot of time doing is helping rebuild some relationships with promoters and track owners across the Midwest, provide more opportunities for this tour, and we've seen that. How has that process gone, and how did you go about that?
Well, the biggest thing was to just get out and talk to people again, and you know, our previous presidents had done a fantastic job running the program previous to us, but there's a lot that goes into trying to make everything work and try to keep all the relationships happy, and to get everybody's schedule to jive as well. So the biggest thing was to reach out, get everybody on the same page, let them know that we're interested in, you know, racing at their facilities, and we've had very good feedback from them as well. As you know, usually we have a pretty good program and a pretty good show for the fans. So the tracks have been you know, welcoming us with open arms as well. So it's tough to get all of our guys to, you know, most of us are just average Joes, so it's tough to get everyone to make all these races, and so I gotta give credit to our members of the club as well for, you know, putting the miles on every weekend and getting out to these places.
Well, you also happen to be a competitor as well, and you do a pretty good job in your number 27 car. There are a lot of strong cars on the tour this year, from veterans to some of the newcomers. Are you pleased with where things are at in terms of driver numbers and cars and veterans? And it seems like a pretty good mix.
It has been. You know, we've had a little decrease in cars this year from last year, but overall we still have some of the strongest numbers in the nation, and we kind of get overlooked because of our location. You know, we're in the Great White North up here, so a lot of the you know, a lot of the tracks and programs down towards the south and, you know, the Ohio area, they kind of steal a lot of the sprint car, you know, glory. But we have a lot of drivers that are, you know, just as competitive as any of the big name drivers down there. It's you know, they come here on a weekly night, and you know, a lot of them have the same response after racing. And wow, Grand Forks is a tough track, and you guys got some good racers up here. So.
Well, I'd have to agree with that. We saw that with the World of Outlaws. Plenty of locals compete with some of those big guys as well, which is pretty impressive. Now, one of the new guys on the circuit is your brother, Nick Ranten, who's out there running around. What's it like to have another Ranten on the track with you?
It's pretty crazy, actually, and I'm very proud of him. It's been you know, I kind of tried to prep him for, you know, it's a big financial burden, and you know, I tried to prep him, and he said, you know what, I don't care, I want to experience this, and you know, he's been by my side for the 11 years that I've raced, so to see him get out and do what, you know, what he's always wanted to do, and to do as well as he's done so far has been really, really awesome. So.
That was good to see another Ranten car out there, that's for sure. A handful of top fives for you this season as well. Almost got that first win at Buffalo River Race Park last month. I know you're really busy, and you can only race when it works with your work schedule, but happy with the way your season's going so far?
So far, we're pretty happy. We have a competitive car. Our car is capable of winning. It's just more on me as the driver to try to limit my mistakes, and you know, the field's tough. So I'm happy so far with how we've done. You know, there's always room for improvement. I don't think you'll ever be 100% satisfied. I mean, that's the nature of racing. You always want to find an edge, but you know, all you can do is just keep working at it, and hopefully not only, hopefully all the cards fall right for you, and you can put together, a win or, a top 5 night. That's kind of the goal most nights. And the way I look at it, if you can finish a race, and if you can finish in the top 5, you're doing well. So we're always looking to win. I mean, we've been trying it for a long time, but there's some stout competition. So.
Well, anytime you can finish a race and you keep it on all 4s, that means it's a lot cheaper for you as well. We appreciate the time, Chris.
Very much, yeah.
We wish you the best, and we'll see you hopefully for our televised race this coming weekend, all right?
I hope so. See that.
All right, Chris Ranten joining us here on Midco Motorsports. We're back to put a wrap on this week's show after this. That'll do it for this week on Midco Motorsports. Be sure to join us on Midco SN this Friday night from River City Speedway in Grand Forks for live coverage of the Mid-Season Track Championship. The NOSA Sprints, NLRA Late Models, B-Mods, and Street Stocks will all be on the track. Jody Norstedt, myself, and 4-time NOSA champion Chris Schierick will be on hand to call the action. The green flag drops at 7 p.m. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the races. We'll see you next time.